She's both blind and deaf. She was blinded at 2 by spinal meningitis, and then when she was 8, her hearing failed. She was fortunate enough to have grasped language, so she can still speak, but with difficulty. But communications in her sightless, soundless world is demanding. To speak to her mother a few blocks away, she has to read incoming braille from a special display and then type her replies. Communicating with her husband Bob is a little less structured and more spontaneous. He can type messages direct with a braille typewriter, and she can answer him with the spoken word.
She wanted to make sure we'd come for dinner tomorrow.
Okay.
The fact that she can talk at all is quite extraordinary, a testimony to her intelligence and both their determination. Every word she says is just a series of vibrations and echoes. They can also talk to each other with finger spelling.
Ellen needed to marry someone with about 6 daughters.
She's lucky she only has 4. We're lucky we only have 1.
Really?
There are 26 finger and wrist movements that make up the fingerspelling alphabet. But both of these communication forms have their limitations when trying to converse with the sighted hearing world. Researchers here at Stanford University in San Francisco have recently made a concerted effort to assist the deaf-blind community. You may remember a few weeks ago we looked at one of their creations, the talking glove, which uses the fingerspelling alphabet and voice synthesis technology to convert the hand movements of a deaf or deaf-blind person wearing the glove into the spoken word.
I want a blue evening dress, please.
Another team of Stanford researchers have been working on a more portable communications aid designed to allow deaf-blind people to interact directly with the outside world. One of the researchers, Cheryl Horn, took me to see Dee Follett on the outskirts of San Francisco.
Thank you very much.
This is part of their ongoing testing program on a device they call Dexter, the mechanical hand. Dexter was designed primarily for deaf people who go blind later in life from Usher's syndrome, and so never learn Braille. The mechanical hand is linked to a small laptop computer, and as you type, the computer stores the words and phrases in buffer memory. The speed of Dexter can be changed to suit the ability of the receiver, from say 1 letter per second up to what it's running at now, which is about 4 letters per second. But because Dee's got such a great memory and such a great finger speller, later versions of Dexter could probably run at twice the speed. So let's just see what Dee thinks of it in its current form. The mechanical hand can mimic the letters of the fingerspelling alphabet with considerable dexterity, and that's how it got its name. And Dee has had a lot to do with refining the hand movements to this point, making suggestions over the last year on how they could be improved. Dee said that she thought Dexter was great, but one of the things she thought was also a real bonus for her was the confidentiality it brings.
I find myself many times wanting to ask my doctor a very personal question, and I somehow can't do that with a third party present. So if I could talk directly to the doctor, I think I'd feel more comfortable, more relaxed. I would be able to open up and really discuss whatever problem I might have.
Dee and Bob have been married now for 20 years, and they've never really let embarrassment or handicaps get in the way. They both like to go out dancing and visiting their 4 children. But Dee also finds time to bring her special sight to others. On a small farm about 10 kilometres away lives a young lad who has an even tougher problem with isolation. He's been both deaf and blind from birth. His parents speak only Portuguese, so they have trouble communicating just his basic needs. But Dee managed to reach out and begin teaching him fingerspelling. For the first time in 17 years, George Savinio felt the joy of being understood. Dee feels it's for people like George that Dexter holds a lot of hope.
I think it would open the door to more independence and a better social life.
Dexter doesn't have the warmth and comfort of a human hand, which is not surprising when you see inside. Each of the fingers and the thumb are operated by fine cables, which are like tendons in the human hand. Servo motors apply tension to the cables according to the commands from the laptop. The other advantage of Dexter is it will give deaf-blind people direct access to the World Communication Network. Dee can have a friendly chat, but she could also access databases or do home shopping. There are 15,000 deaf-blind people in the United States alone. As Dee says, a helping hand like this one will open many doors.